Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I have these 1/8 scale figures by Kotobukiya. These are from the original Trigun, Badlands Rumble, and this is from the latest Trigun, Stampede. I kinda went trigger happy after I watched Stampede and also pre-ordered the older versions, which were thankfully re-released. Anyway, I'm looking forward to opening them, so let's get started. First, for the duo from the past, I got both Vash and Wolfwood, which were thankfully re-released. Their aftermarket was crazy high at around $500, so seriously, thank you Kotobukiya. Come on, keep it coming. My wallet is ready. I got these two from Knitting Game at about 13,500 yen each, which is about $95 US. This was shipped together with two other figures featured in my August haul by surface shipping at about $40 US. I pre-ordered these in October 2023 and recently received them. So very excited to see why this was so crazy expensive in the aftermarket. But before we get into them, I also got the newer version of Vash based off the Trigun Stampede style. If you have not watched it yet, please do. It may be 3D animation, but it is so sick looking. Koto also announced that they are making a Wolfwood, so I hope he looks good. I got this with the bonus head, which is very hard to get because Kotobukiya Japan doesn't want foreign money. So a friend of mine helped me to buy this, and another friend brought him back for me when he visited Japan around the period this figure was released. So lucky. I pre-ordered him in July 2023 and received him early this year. Now I am finally opening him after half a year. Yay! Okay, let's open these boys up. All three boxes have window panels on the front, sides, and top, so you can see the figure. Inside, we have the blister package with the accessories and the instructions for all three. Here are the instructions, which I'll just use cause I don't want to break my figures. Vash's head has instructions as well. So cute. Next, let's take a look at the figure and the accessories that they come with. First up, the bases. The duo from the past have similar looking base and the newer Vash has a diorama-like base. Secondly, we have the figures themselves, looking super cool and swag with guns. Next, all three boys have shades, which I'll be putting on their faces. For the older duo, the guns are separated and would need to be assembled. They both also come with additional minifigures over here. And for Wolfwood, he has an extra hand part and the Punisher cross gun. Here are all the components of the older Vash and Wolfwood figure, as well as the newer Vash figure. For assembly, let's start with the duo from the past. Here are both Vash and Wolfwood's base, and they are not designed to connect, but they are designed to complement each other in the very similar pattern. And the best part is both has metal pegs. So let's take the figures out, starting with Vash. He seems to have many intricate parts. And there's quite a bit of plastic wrapping around him, so let's remove that. One on his feet, the other on his other feet. Wow, the detail on his legs looks amazing. Look at that. That looks really cool. Okay, let's attach him onto his base first. So there are holes on his feet, and those should align with the metal pegs on the base. Okay, not gonna lie, but it feels like I have to force the feet a little bit closer in order to align with the pegs. And that is like seriously the most stressful thing that I have to do. Okay, that managed to go in, but it was quite stressful because you kind of have to put one foot in first and then force the other one into position, and that is not nice to do. So let's put on the shades first. Because these shades look really fragile, they actually gave two in case you break or lose one, so I'll be extra careful with this To start with the shades, you first gotta detach the head and carefully pull it out. Okay, there's a wrapping here as well. Here is his head in the original anime style. So here are his shades, looking really fragile. So let's just try to put this on. I think it goes in this direction. Okay, that didn't seem too bad, but I feel like the shades will drop off if you knock it anytime, so let's be real careful with the head. And once the shades are on, let's put his head back on. Thankfully that goes in real easily. Yep, with the shades he looks so much cooler. For the next accessory, we have the gun. And apparently this just slides into his hand, so let's try it out. So for Vash, his hand is appearing to hold a gun, and it seems like the gun should be able to slide through it. The manual also indicates that the index finger should be where the trigger is, so let's try that out. Yep, and I think something like this would do. Looking really good, and that wasn't too bad to assemble. With that, the original Vash is fully assembled. Let's start with Wolfwood next. Let's take Wolfwood out from the box. And just like Vash, he's got quite a bit of plastic. So let's remove that. Compared to Vash's outfit, his is a lot simpler, but still pretty neat looking. Okay, let's attach him to his base. Look at that pose. So swag. Yep, and compared to Vash, he's a lot easier to put onto the base. So let us start off with the shades first, because I prefer to display him with this. And to attach the shades on, his front hairpiece can actually be removed. So let's take that out first. Okay. And then you can replace it with the version with the shades on it. This is like an android, but in a figurine form. There. Doesn't he look so much cooler like this? Okay, next let's attach his gun. For Wolfwood's gun, similar to Vash, his hand seems to have a hole to allow him to grip the gun, but instead of slotting it in, this guy's hand should be taken out first, so it'll be easier to attach the gun. His thumb can also be removed, so that you can slot the gun in easier. And then after that, you just slide the gun in. Take note that the index finger is also supposed to be at the trigger. And lastly, reattach the thumb back, and then you can put it back in. Although it's an easy assembly process, but the seam line for the thumb looks really bad. Anyway, let's just slot this back in. And this is Wolfwood with his gun. For the last accessory, which is the iconic Punisher, the cross, let's take this out. In order to assemble this, you'll have to change the hand part first, which is this, with a strap. So let's start by removing this handpiece first. Oh boy, that was tough. And the direction should be such that the strap is facing upwards, because this strap will be attached to the Punisher later. And for the Punisher, it has a metal peg, and this goes into the hole on the base over here. So before you attach the strap, we should attach the Punisher to the base first. It can be positioned such that it doesn't hit Wolfwood, in this orientation, outwards like this. Although it seems to have a potential leaning issue in future, but I suppose that's where the strap comes in. And to secure the punisher to the strap, there's a little hole on the punisher over here, and that's pretty much where the peg on the strap goes. So let's hope this would stay in place. Okay, this is not very easy to slide in. Why did they have to design such a difficult joint to put into place? It seems that you will have to slide this strap in from this side first before you can even attach it down into the hole. But even though the strap is not on, the whole weight of this is just held onto this piece of plastic, and I don't know if that's safe. I feel like eventually he's gonna snap off. Anyway, with that, Wolfwood is fully assembled. And to complete Vash and Wolfwood, we have the little midi figure of Naito and Kuroneko. So let's put them together. Okay, it seems like Kuroneko doesn't have a peg, so he's supposedly able to stand on his own. And yep, he can stand, although his head is a little bit heavy, so he may topple. And for Naito, well, gotta attach him to his base. Okay, he's supposed to be jumping up. And here is the original Trigun duo put together. Let's move on to Trigun Stampede. For the new Vash, this is his base. And it's like a diorama setting, quite different from the old school Vash. And let's take him out from the box. Looking really nice. Okay, let's remove all this plastic first. Just like the original Vash, his base has metal pegs, which is really good. And it should correspond to the holes on his feet. Yep, and it fits perfectly. I got this from the Japan Kotobukiya store through a friend. And I managed to get the bonus faceplate of him smiling. Like, there are a few variations of the bonus faceplate. There's one with an angry shouting face, one with his smiling face, and the original face. And I think of all three, this one is the best. So let's put it on. And to swap it over, we'll have to remove the original head. Okay, his hair is really spiky, so I gotta be careful not to break it. Before we put on his bonus head, let's put on his shades. And just like the original Vash, the new one also comes with 2 pieces, in case you break or lose one. After all, this looks really fragile. So let's try to do this real carefully. Here is Vash in the new style. And let's put on his glasses real carefully. Okay, I think this is it. Apparently, you're supposed to put the frames of the glass behind his ear, and it should fit perfectly. This feels a lot more secure than the original Vash, so that's quite an improvement. However, it's still pretty fragile, so gotta be careful. And with his head done, let's put it back on. Oh, ouch, his hair just poked me. Okay, that's all for his head. And with that, the new Vash is done. A lot simpler than the other two. And with that, I have the 1/8 scale Vash and Wolfwood from Trigun, Badlands Rumble, as well as Vash from Trigun Stampede, all of them fully assembled. And I have a feeling that they purposely designed him in this pose so that all three complements each other. I mean, that's just me. But I'm curious to see how the Stampede version of Wolfwood will fit in. I hope they do something where all 4 figures will look nice together. Anyway, at 1/8 scale, they are all about 22 cm high and are not that big but have so much details on them. Overall, although I went trigger happy in getting 2 different versions of the same character, I'm quite happy with this because both of the versions look awesome. Both versions of Vash has their own style and it captures how the design has changed over time. The original Vash has a lot more agey look, and for a Kotobukiya figure, like the shading and details on this one is way better than a lot of the other Kotobukiya figures I've seen. So I'm not surprised why this guy's price went so high in the aftermarket. As for the newer Vash, he's less agey but still really cool looking. Now he has a more cinema roll vibe, which makes you want to protect him. I was initially skeptical about whether the face would be as good as promised, and yes, Kotobukiya delivered for this one. From the different angles, they managed to make him look so good. In comparison, the older Vash features look sharper as per the original art style. Although I prefer the newer Vash head sculpt, this hair somehow looks less refined, but is still fairly well shaded and detailed. And for Wolfwood, well, he just looks so swag. Although, even though he has the shades which makes him cooler, his face still gives me price figure vibes. It could be the scale or the lack of details and shading in the hair. The seam line in the hair also doesn't look that nice. For all 3 boys, their clothes and pose are very nicely sculpted and designed. It's dynamic and dramatic, and the way the folds of the clothes are done really just adds to the effect. Stampede's Vash jacket really looks like a puffer jacket, texture and all. There is just the right amount of highlights and shading to make the bright red look so natural. His pants are also nicely sculpted, although lacking in shading. The amount of creases makes up for it. They even added his scar or plant markings under his shirt. Nice. And for the older Vash, well, I can see why the aftermarket price was so high. All the buttons, buckles, straps, and glossy texture makes this 1/8 scale figure look amazingly detailed. For Wolfwood, his clothes could do with a little more shading cause it's just a simple black suit. But that body sculpt, nice. Lastly, for the base, I'm a bit torn. On one hand, I love the diorama base of the new Vash, but this works if you only have the new Vash. If you have all 3 figures, their bases are totally mismatched. And I'm concerned about how they plan to do Stampede's Wolfwood, because it will affect how I display the boys all together. However, on its own, the diorama base is super nice. The buildings, the sand and rocks are very detailed and naturally colored. For the older Vash, I also really like his flat acrylic base. It's better than a simple round disc, and the acrylic just makes it look so premium. The design is a lot more edgy and suits the figure a lot. The best part is that it's so space efficient. However, his feet have issues fitting into the pegs completely. It seems like his legs in this re-release version are a little too short. Thankfully for Wolfwood, he fits perfectly on his base. No issues whatsoever. And that's all for today's video. If I were to compare which versions of the Vash I prefer, well, it's hard to say. I would just buy both, cause they both have their strengths. AG Vash and Cinema Row Vash are just so perfect. And I can't wait to see how Stampede Wolfwood will look like, to compare him with the older version. Kotobukiya, I'm counting on you. Anyway, thanks for staying till the end. If you're still here, really appreciate it. If you enjoyed what you saw, do leave a like and comment, and do hit the subscribe button to stay tuned to more videos. Until then, I'll see you next time. Bye bye!